I basically agree with everything that she just brought out. Um, that it's obvious that over centuries that white men have uh, incorporated different things in society um, to put a cap on the intellect of black people, such as starting with slavery, hindering our ability to comprehend, to read. Obviously, if you can't read, you won't have knowledge, you won't have power. Therefore, the rest is history. But one thing that I do take issue with is there is a level of deception that white people have demonstrated. That's been apparent and obvious. Uh, um, Manipulating black men um, and to cause us to think, excuse me, that it is a war of who can outsmart who, or who's the better man, or who has power over who. That's apparent. But to me, the issue is, and never to make an excuse for a black man to wallow in sorrow for himself, self-pity or apathy, or not to quote-unquote fight. Uh, but I think overall, not to say that we are not deceived, at least on an individual basis today, but I just think overall, at least for the past, I would say several decades, if double that, for the most part, white people are not really deceiving black people, or at least black people as a whole, put it like that, as a whole. Because frankly, we don't trust them, haven't trusted them for a very long time. So even when there is a level of sincerity or genuineness that they express to us, it comes with mixed emotions and a sense of cynicism. That is it really coming from? Is there really a alternative means to it? I think the issue is it's their world, their country, their rules, their game, and they have the refs. They have the refs on their side because they are the refs. That doesn't mean that we can't win. That doesn't mean that on an individual basis we can't win, because we have done that. Time has shown that. History has shown that. Even now, even on an individual basis, me, you, or whoever. So no, it's not of I can't survive in this white man's world. Woe is me. Let me go bitch up in the cave or something to that effect. No, that's not the case. But I just think that that's really the issue. It's not that they're quote unquote outsmarting us. It's just it's irrelevant if they're smarter than us or if they're dumber than us. When it's their game, it doesn't matter, because they're going to make the rules as they go. So we have to play by their rules. We have done that. We can beat them at their game by their rules. That doesn't make it easy, but it doesn't make it impossible either. And nothing ever worth anything is ever going to be easy. But just that, I think that's the real key. It's not really. I mean, there is a level of deception and manipulation that we can't disregard. That definitely plays a factor. But I just think the key is it's their game.
In their game.
And this is a country that has basically, like, food for us, by us, but for white people, and it's by white people. So they're always going to be geared for their success, and for the most part geared for our failure. And we just have to fight through that. That doesn't make them more intelligent than us. That just makes us, we have to work harder.
Okay, so another topic that you brought up, and I know this is getting a little long, but whatever, it's YouTube. Another topic that you brought up was as far as black women, something that particularly I wanted to talk about, that I wanted to comment on, was black women not making black men feel strong, where other races of women make their men feel strong. And I do agree with you to some avail, in a sense that the things that characterize masculinity to a woman, in many cases, black men have negated, such as the ability to provide for one's home, such as the initiative to take care of and provide for your woman. And to sustain your own communities and to raise your children, and those kind of things, to engage in marriages, to in order to sustain wealth in your communities, to advocate education in your communities, and to educate your own. Those types of things provide a certain level of security, which define masculinity to a woman. And when the predominant species in your race that is upholding those measures even of masculinity along with your own femininity, it negates the manhood of the man that is your partner. Fortunately, the man that I am with, has decided to uphold those measures of masculinity along with the things that define a man to another man. He does uphold the things that define a man to a woman. Other races of women, across the world, they can go not working. They can quit their jobs and, just sit at home and raise kids, and can trust that their man is going to completely 100% provide by illegal means at that. Other races of women can get pregnant and not worry about the man running out on them, and you got to hunt him down for child support. It's things like that that negate a certain level of masculinity, which causes that independent woman syndrome, which has been to the detriment of our entire race as far as I'm concerned. But when you say something like that, I think that you do have to be cognizant of the ways that you guys have negated your manhood, the same way that we're expected to take responsibility for, when black men decide to go and date outside of the race, and we have to take responsibility for our attitudes, and we have to take responsibility for what we don't do. You guys have to do the same thing when you say stuff like, well, you don't make me feel strong. Well, are you making strong moves at this point? And so, which also goes back to the fact that we are playing a game, in my opinion, that is one of spirituality and duality, in a sense that we're fighting against an undisputed evil here when we're dealing with white people, and the way that, personally, that's how I feel. That we're fighting against undisputed evil here, but as Dwayne put it, we're playing their game in their world, and we're failing at this point because the basis of the game, the foundations of the game, we haven't mastered within our own communities, which is building a solid foundation at home in order to progress outside of it.
Mm-hmm. To follow up from that, it's more like, really the question is, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Mm-hmm. And to relate that to this discussion, which came first? Black women not giving the black man power, or the black man not taking the lead to assert his power? Mm-hmm. Which came first? We can discuss that all day long, but the fact of the matter is, as a man,
historical documentation has proven that initiative on behalf of the black man began to lack first,
and even if,
as a result of fear, nevertheless.
Let's assume that's not even true. As a man, you should naturally take responsibility for it. Mm-hmm. So it's human psyche says that women, not only just black women, just women period, the things they look for in a mate, or the top of the list, is being secure. Mm-hmm. And obviously, under secure, that's a broad title, but that falls as far as providing for your wife, your significant other, and obviously your household, your kids and whatnot. And for the most part, at least as of recently, in the past, decades, a few decades or so, black men, like she said, have negated their responsibility. They have not asserted power, so therefore, unfortunately, the women have to assert that power, and that's where that quote-unquote independent spirit come from. There would be no B if there was no A to begin with, And the fact of the matter is the fact of the matter is as men, if we handle our responsibilities, then black women, we will have it will be no notion to even bring up that our women don't give us power, because we would assert our power, so they'll have no choice but to be submissive to us, to give us that power, because we've earned it. We've showed it, and we've provided that secure in our household. So that's pretty much all we're going to touch on with J Love 47 video. And until next time, Conversations of Black. Take care.